Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review, episode number 147. As I'm reading the 140th episode anime, a new mission which apparently adapts chapter 11. I just checked it, and it doesn't adapt the entire chapter. Matter of fact, they adapt a good chunk of the chapter. I'd say they adapt the first 22 pages, then they skip over pages 23 to 27, and then they go from 28 to 36, actually more like 37. Then they skip over one page, and then they go straight to the last couple pages, and that's simply it. Now, the opening scene of this episode is simply this. Now, first you see a flashback to what happened in Momoshiki. What the first Momoshiki was happened way back in episode 70, in the finale for the tuning exam arc. Yeah, it took that freaking long to get back to that. It took the anime, I would say, I think it was like close to about 80 episodes to finally get back to this. Basically almost 2 freaking years to finally get back to that. Because we had to do the stupid disappearance arc, which nobody liked. There was some good arcs that came afterwards, but my gosh, that arc, the Mitsuki disappearance arc, completely unnecessary to drag it out so long as it was. Anyways, basically, we have another flashback of basically Sasuke talking to Boruto, which is from the manga, but there's a slight change here. Yeah, the change is they actually changed Boruto's position, because in the manga, he's to Sasuke's left, when he's basically kind of a conversation with him on this balcony. In the anime, it's basically on his right. My guess is they probably just took the image, basically just made a mirror copy of what he was put in the manga, with pretty much mostly similar dialogue. And then we have another change. Basically, we have Team 7 chasing a bunch of bank robbers. In the manga, they were chasing Meiji bandits. Now, faces-wise, appearance-wise, they look exactly the same, except their clothing is completely different. Yeah, and also these characters do not use ninjutsu. Nope, there is no ninja tools basically being used this episode. Yeah, the bank robbers just basically just try to fight off Team 7. They're taken out really easily. One of them does use a poison knife on Sadara, just like it does in the manga. And of course, well, Boruto kicks him away. Eventually, he's able to track him down and take him out really easily. Here's another change they made aside from the appearance of Bank Robber's clothing. Sadara's outfit. Now, in the manga, she was wearing the outfit she wore in the Boruto movie. In the anime, she's wearing the current attire that she's sporting since her own standalone arc that she had back from, I think it was like episode 1722. Ever since that particular arc, she's wearing that outfit. In the manga, she's wearing completely different attire. Yeah, that's another change they made. And then also they made another change that Konohamaru actually caught one of the criminals. In the manga, he didn't catch anybody. Yep. And then after this, we have 5 pages of stuff related to the movie that was completely skipped over, and they went straight to, like, here's another change they made. Okay, next thing you see is the feudal lord riding via train. In the manga, he's already off the train and at some store, and and basically his bodyguards basically have completely different attire than he does in the manga. By the way, in case you're wondering, this Sai actually appear in the manga chapter this episode that's from. No, the scene is mostly the same, got the same dialogue. They did make a couple changes to this particular scene. One, location is completely different, because in the manga, they were at a store, here they're getting off a train. Also, the feudal lord, it looks completely different. For one thing, he's got the same face, but they changed one thing about him. Actually, 2 things about him. 1, he's not wearing a black hat, and 2, he's got facial hair, which is something he was clean shaven in the manga. In the anime, he's got facial hair like a spot, and his escort is Sai. This scene, I kind of felt as though was a pretty good change, because it was kind of awkward, basically, of how this scene was in the manga. Like, oh, here's the feudal lord at a store, and then he's handing off his son to his bodyguard, which, by the way, the bodyguard has the butler. Yeah, it's basically his butler. From visual appearance-wise, got the same name, same clothing, nothing has changed with this character. Mostly put the character percent exactly the same. And then from that point forward, then they have him basically going to, I think it was basically have him go buy. They actually added the scene here, basically of him going to a shop, going shop to shop trying to buy some cards, basically buy a whole bunch of them. And then we see Bart the first time in the episode. Mostly put some of his stuff in the episode is still mostly the same. Him basically getting upset over the Naruto, which this also gets a change as well. In the manga, it's simply just Naruto doing the peace sign. In the anime, he's basically doing a ninja hand sign, which you see more of his body. This change, I kind of felt as though was really good for the anime because, well, got good animation style. And plus, it looks a heck of a lot better because in the manga, it looks kind of silly. Just, well, Naruto basically doing the peace sign. Yeah, I would think that would be pretty lame. And I'm kind of glad they changed it because that looks pretty lame. Here you get a lot more show of his body and him doing a pose. Better than just doing peace. Because he's the one bringing us up a peace. Yep. Now, basically, this scene is somewhat similar to the manga. Now, they also add another character here who is actually not in the chapter. They added Chocho to the scene. Yes, they added Chocho. And what is she usually doing when you see her? She's eating potato chips. Yep, eating potato chips and talking about cards. And Mitsuke's dialogue, my gosh. They actually remove all... Now, basically, here's kind of the thing. Now, since these cards are used in the show already, we don't need a full explanation of what this card game really is, because this card game was introduced way before they adapted this chapter to the anime, which I'm kind of glad they did, because it'd be kind of stupid to adapt that dialogue, which gives you what kind of game this is, even though we have already been introduced this card game for quite a while. Mostly put, Meisuke is basically here presented with the same dialogue, and with similar dialogue, but he's not explaining the game. And he said, I don't waste my money. And mostly, Boruto is still upset, basically. He's still getting his father's Hokage cards. And, of course, Iwambi basically... I think Iwambi was in the chapter, I'm mistaken. Yeah. There is a character in the chapter who's actually not in the episode. Let's see if I can find him here. Let's see. Let's see if I can find him here. Yeah, let's see here. Oh yeah, they actually added the... Okay, there is a couple changes here. Okay. Yeah, I just noticed though, basically we have a couple other changes here. Now, they added Iwambi, who's actually not in the chapter, by the way. Yeah, he's added this scene. Probably because he's an original character, so he added him here. And Inogen actually is wearing a completely different attire, because in the manga, he's wearing the outfit he wore at the start of the show with the overalls, which I was not a fan of that attire. It looks very silly on him, and I'm kind of glad they changed. But mostly put right after that, aside from adding Iwambi here and basically swapping him, basically, for some reason, he's given the dialogue that Shigadai has in the chapter for this scene is mostly given to Iwambi. Because why not? So yeah, they cut the stuff out there. Oh yeah, there's a page that features Metal Lee. Yeah, that is actually not in the episode at all. He's not even featured at all. Yep. And then right after the scene, basically Boruto goes to Thunderburg with Satoru and Chocho, and then we have basically just Shigadai, Iwambi, and Inogen go to Thunderburger, try to order a burger, but they can't because the feudal lord's son bought the place because Iwambi wouldn't sell him the credit card. And basically, he says that makes Iwambi very upset, so he tries to hit him. Look how Boruto was there to stop him. Yep. And basically, Boruto kind of calls him out on his nonsense. He's, oh yeah, I know my strongest card. It's my credit card. Yeah. Let me check and see here. I don't think that credit card was actually in the chapter. No, I don't think so. Let's see. Nope. Yeah. That's the interesting thing. Oh yeah, the credit card does make an appearance in the chapter. Like one panel. Yes. Mostly it looks exactly the same. I just look at it now. Yeah. And yeah, and also They make another change with him, the fact that he's looking at Sai's card instead of looking at Naruto's card. Which I love what they did with it, basically have him basically leaning to the side and using super basic, which actually he's no worth ever using. And yeah, I mean he knows who Sai is because he's famous. Sai the Shinobi. Because Sai doesn't have a last name. He's probably one of 2 characters in the entire series who does not have a last name. You want to know who the other character is? Believe it or not, it's 1010. She does not have a last name. Yeah. And after the burger scene, basically we see a brief scene. They actually took this image from chapter 12, showing the Hidden Elite Villa, which that's from chapter 12. They put in the end, which is fine because it shows basically where because this whole scene here is basically mostly anime original. Him having his cards on the floor and moping he couldn't exactly get the card. So apparently, off screen, of course, Boruto is summoned to the basically the Okage mansion, and mostly the scene the final parts of this episode is most presented almost exactly the same, and they say that this comes the personification of the feudal lord himself. I don't think that was like in the manga. No, let me look up here. Oh, I forgot he did have facial hair, but he had no hat, and he wore a slightly different attire. So let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, the whole scene comes from the last few pages of the chapter. And the thing is, they actually make a slight wording change here. Because in the manga, Boruto refers to, Konohamaru was master. In the anime, basically refers to big bro. And basically, it's Bob we call him time off. And mostly put the scene is mostly presented exactly the same. Somewhat. Yeah, basically he's going to be the bodyguard. And most of the dialogue between Boruto and the feudal lord's son is mostly presented exactly the same. Slight wording changes here and there, mostly puts to the same scene. And of course, Boruto has no choice to become his bodyguard. And that's the episode itself. Next week, we're going to adapt chapter 12. And maybe we're going to cover that stuff we skipped over from this episode. Because if you look at it, this chapter is roughly 39 pages long. Actually, it's more like 45. If you take out the cover story and basically the 6 pages skip over, they only adapted 39 pages of this chapter. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they adapted that for a future episode. Yeah, it might make some good material, but yeah. It seems as though they cut out that stuff just to put a bunch of anime originals up, which, I think it's fine. And plus, why would you focus on stuff relating to Kitsuke, I think his name is, the scientist guy? Why would you focus on it now, even though it's been like 80 episodes, almost 80 episodes since this happened? Why would you wait that long and finally follow up with it? Yeah, maybe they're going to have a flashback for that in the very next episode. I hope so, because it'd be kind of stupid to skip over that important scene. And it's kind of odd that they skipped over Middle Lee in this chapter. Yeah, there's another character they skipped over who's actually in the chapter. Besides Middle Lee, there's one other character in the actual chapter itself who's actually there, but not in the episode itself. And that's Mari, Ashima and Kornai's daughter. She's nowhere in the episode. I mean, yes, she's made appearances in a handful of episodes in the past, but yet she can make an appearance in this episode? Yeah, maybe they're saving that for a future episode. It's possible. Yeah, I'd say that adaptation-wise, the changes they made, I mean, the only changes I kind of felt as though basically were definitely appropriate is the fact that Tharos' outfit is different. I thought that changing the Meiji bandits, of course they reference in this episode that they've been inactive for some time, but they're still around. Also, the ending is slightly different. Yes, in the ending of the chapter, it's basically Boruto Green working with the daimyo's son. I don't think that the actual ending of the episode, I think that may have been from the manga. Let me take a look here. No, that's not it. Here we go. Yeah, that may be from a future chapter, but that was not from this. It's not from chapter 12. Which I saw from the preview, Boruto was wearing his ninja handband the whole time. Which, yeah, that's gonna be a slight change from the way it was in the manga. Yeah, but who knows exactly what they're going to adapt for the next few episodes. Yeah, there's one particular scene I thought was quite odd they put in here, which I'll get to that when they adapt chapter 13. Okay? So yeah, that's it for this particular review. I have one more review I'm hoping to do today, a review of the third film for Inuyasha. Okay? See you next video. Bye.